So tell me a bit about yourself and OrcaCon.
Well, I'm Donna, and I run OrcaCon. I made a con that I always wanted to attend that was welcoming to everybody. So my day job is with Catan Studio. So we make, Catan, Settlers of Catan. And so it's a perfect marrying of being able to work in games and then do this for fun. And this is a year-round kind of thing. And so we started 6 years ago with planning our first OrcaCon, and then this is our fourth show. And it's huge.
What are some of the ways that OrcaCon is trying to change gaming and geek culture?
Oh gosh. Well, the first thing is that when we made the con, we talked about accessibility. So we wanted to make it so we had food options that were inexpensive, which is like how we got the food trucks. Is that the aisles are spread out so people with wheelchairs could get through, that everybody can get through. We've got ASL interpreters to do for panels and our info desk, and we have a gaming table that's set up for people to sign while they game. So we did that, and then we have a bunch of communities that do like Game to Grow, and communities that use gaming as teaching tools and stuff. And then I started inviting guests who were people of color, women, LGBT, in all of that, of focusing on a bunch of people that don't get to go to Gen Con or Origin and have it, here where we're giving them an opportunity to start their business. Some of our people in the merchant hall are brand new and they can't afford to get into a big show, but they can afford to get in this one. So that way we try to make it accessible for everyone. And we have not only do we have our anti-harassment policy, but we have an anti-racism policy. So that's a real big thing for us. And then every year we focus on a different group of marginalized folks to bring in the creators. So like last year was Indigenous creators, and so Native American and First Nations creators. And they could come and do panels and bring their games in and talk about the games that are made for their tribes and the games that are teaching on the reservations. So that way, these are things that aren't in the public, but these people are just as important as like working for Catan, like I do. So those are the kind of things that we do to try to grow it and make it better.
Board games are important to me, but are they important to you? What are some of your favorite games?
They are so important to me because it's a way of bringing people together. There's games for everyone. Like as an example, I was at a convention and all the women I saw were family or girlfriends or wives or children of the men that were playing, the men and boys were playing. And none of the women played games and they were never invited to the table. And then I brought in Marrying Mr. Darcy, which is one of my favorite card games because it's Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. And so we started doing voices from the miniseries. So if we had a card that has a lot of flavor text and it was something about Mr. Collins, we would all go, Mr. Collins, which is text from the TV show. And so when we started doing that, other women were looking around and saying, is there some Jane Austen happening over here? We love this. And so there was a bunch of women and girls that didn't even know that there was games they could like to play. And so now they all come out to the conventions and things like that. So games are, not only the teaching and with the socialization, but it brings people together that like the same thing and people can make friends. And so that's why I like games. I like board games because you can sit with the board, a board game, you can put up a looking for group sign and people were like, I don't know what this is. Well, I'll teach you how to play it. And then you make more people gamers. So like I love Catan. So that's one of my favorites. I play a lot of Catan at the house when I make people come over. But I love Lords of Waterdeep is one of my favorite games. Actually, I like Skull. Have you played Skull before?
No.
Oh, it's fun. It's a kind of it's a bluffing game. And so it's really, really easy. It's a little French game. And, but I like co-ops. I like co-ops a lot. But, and when we play the games, everybody thinks I'm the spy or that I'm the bad person in the game. When we betrayal, it's like, it's not me. I'm not the evil one, but everybody thinks I'm the evil one. But it's really Barry. Barry is the spy always. So I like those kind of games. I like Ticket to Ride is a good game to do for people who are new to games. and Small World, which people will argue. They'll think that Small World is not a good game to teach people, but it's actually a very good game to teach people because you just got one thing, make money. That's how you win. And so there's a lot of games I play.
Thanks so much for doing this interview with me.
Well, thanks for coming. I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah.
Yay!